I don't know where that's coming from.
Why have you been ripping Buster Posey all day?
There you go.
What's the matter with you?
There you go.
All right, let's go to the River Islands guest line.
I'm running out of catchers who manage.
Ryan Vogelsong is with us on the show and excited to have him. Hey, Vogie, what's up?
What's going on, guys? Hey, I got to apologize. I thought this interview was supposed to be for tomorrow night. I was at Riders baseball practice, so I have to apologize for being not where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there.
Buddy, you're such a gem. Like it's all good, and the fact that you called in anyway when you could is great. And how did baseball practice go?
Yeah, we're getting there, man. We're going to be all right. Slowly but surely, it's process, right?
Does your team need a new? Yeah, Dibs.
Vogie, I don't know why these people are so down on me. You know what, Vogie? I'll say it. Buster Posey, he's overrated. There, are you happy?
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm probably not gonna finish the interview now.
No, Vogie, I'm not pessimistic. I'm actually excited about this. The turning of the page. My only thing is we don't really know if he's going to be great. We hope he's going to be great. We think he's going to be great. I'm going to wait and see a little bit, Vogie. That's all.
Hey, my question is, what hasn't he not been great at so far?
What about that, Dibbers?
Hitting left-handed.
You don't know that.
Maybe he is. Have we ever seen him? I'm sure if he tried, he's probably great at it.
He's probably great at it. He's been great at everything, and he is a forever Giant. And we were talking about this yesterday. He's on the Rushmore of favorite Giants and great Giants. And so, yeah, there's no way anybody could be pessimistic. I'm super stoked, but what do you think is going to be the one thing that he's going to be just super great at?
Man, listen, I obviously have known him for quite a while now and have a really good relationship with him off the field as well as we had on. He's just a solid person, and he's just talented and he's smart. I think he's one of those guys that he is going to excel at anything that he puts his toe in the water with. And I think this is a great position for him to be in. I think it's going to come with its challenges. It's going to, but I think he's going to crush it. Like if something's tough for him, he's going to figure out how to get it done. I mean, it's what he's done his whole life. So I'm not saying this is going to be smooth sailing all the way through. Listen, hopefully it is. Hopefully the transition is great and he nails it and hits the ground running. But there's going to be some bumps in the road just like there is with anything in life. But I think he's going to, from his playing days and, raising a family, like, he gets it. Sometimes there's a wall in front of you. You figure out how to go through it, around it, or over it. So I think that he's going to crush it like he does everything else.
Ryan, have you talked to him? And if so, how did that go?
Yeah, I talked to him last night for about 30 minutes, and I just wanted him to hear me say congratulations in person on the phone and not through a text message. And I told him that. I said, hey, I could have texted you, but I'm not a big fan of text messaging because the emotion doesn't come through. So I just told him, I said, hey, I wanted you to hear my voice and how happy I am for you and excited. And, we talked a little bit and talked about, some stuff that's in front of him and, talked about some things in the system right now that I saw when, traveling around the minor leagues this year. And we had a great conversation. We talked about our kids. We talked about our wives. It was a very friend-related conversation and a little bit of work.
Okay, and in that little bit of work part, did we discuss an expanded role for Ryan Vogelsong?
We did not. I just told him that I've always had his back. I will always have his back, and that I am on his call anytime he needs me, any time of day, anytime, anywhere. When he needs questions or just needs to talk or vent or whatever, that I'm here for him and got his back in every aspect.
When you look at the job that he is going to undertake, and a lot of it comes from the farm, obviously, is trying to get the youngsters to be built up to be major leaguers. How big is the task ahead to try to restore the farm system to be one of the top ones in baseball?
Yeah, it's going to take some work, and we talked about that. This is going to there's some work involved here. We need to get better at some things, and he understands that, and we talked about that last night. It's not out of the realm that it could come very, very quickly, but we got some work to do, and I think that the leader that I know he is going to make the transition and that go exceedingly quick because he's going to lead. And he's going to demand what he wants Giants baseball he knows it's supposed to look like and what he feels it's supposed to look like and what he knows it's supposed to look like. So that's why I'm very confident that he's going to be really good at this because he knows what he wants his product to be.
Ryan Vogelsong is with us here on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. So, Vogie, this is interesting when you're talking about traveling around and seeing things within the organization and then talking that out with Buster last night. I wonder if you could expand on that a little bit for our audience. What do you see that needs to change? What are some of those challenges?
I think first and foremost, like we just – as an organization, I think we just have to get back to being a little bit more fundamentally sound and just be a little bit more detail-oriented in the small things. I think sometimes, and it's not just us, this is everybody, and I deal with this when I'm coaching my son's kids too, like we want everything super fast and we see the big picture and lose sight of the small things sometimes, right? So I think we just got to refocus on executing some of the small fundamental things a little bit better. And when you can do that, the big things come into play. So I think that's the number one thing. I do like what I saw from our pitchers this summer traveling around. I feel like we're really starting to understand the importance of pitching again and not throwing and executing pitches and changing speeds and understanding what swings look like and not just trying to throw the ball as hard as we can all the time and throw the nastiest slider we can all the time. So I really like the direction that our pitching's going in on the minor league level. And you put those things together and it starts sounding like championship baseball, right?
Is that something that's organizational in terms of philosophy? Not only the kind of pitcher you want to bring into the organization, but also how to pitch? Is that something that will be underneath Buster Posey's purview and something that will matriculate all the way down to the lowest levels?
I can't tell you what he is going to have his grasp on. We did not get into that. But I do know that Buster is, like I said, he's super smart, and I do know that Buster knows he's going to have to surround himself with some people. And I'm sure if that's something that he feels like he needs to delegate a little bit, then he will. But to your first question, I will say that when we were in the previous coaching staff and some of the pitching direction we had then, it was much different than it is now. It was more velocity-based, spin rates, throwing your best pitch as many times as you could, and I think we lost some of the pitchability. And when Bo Mel and Brian came in, it was one thing that they preached to a lot to us in spring training and to the guys about pitchability again and being able to read swings and making adjustments on your own without staring at the iPad. And that doesn't mean that the iPad is not valuable and doesn't have great information, but you don't have an iPad when you're pitching in the game on the mound with you. So there is some experience and lessons learned in being able to see what a pitch is doing with your eyes and not have to look at an iPad all the time. So that's where the transition from the pitching philosophies did change a little bit, because the prior regime, that was their philosophy. So, and listen, that's the one thing I've always said. If you have a philosophy and you believe in it, you have to go to battle with what you believe in, because if it doesn't work out, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I did it the way I thought it was right. So if it doesn't work, you can be okay with yourself, right? So the new regime comes in and pitching philosophy has gone back a little bit and not getting away from what everyone else is doing. But like I said, more pitchability, more understanding swings, more executing pitches, more being a pitcher that can read what he sees with his eyes and not having to look at the data all the time.
Ryan Vogelsong with us on 95.7 The Game. Vogie, what does this announcement yesterday do for the morale of the entire organization?
I think it should shoot it through the roof, to be honest. But, you know, my relationship with Buster is different than most. I mean, there's probably 50 or so people that he was in that locker room with that, you know, maybe less that saw him a little bit differently than the rest of the people. So I'm probably have a little bit more excitement, and some of our former teammates probably have a little bit more excitement because we know the quality that we're going to see again. And, but I think if you're just a normal fan and you're a Giants fan, I think you should be super excited that he wants to make this thing good, right? He's not just sitting on the sideline, not doing anything about it. He cares about the Giants. He's a Giant. He loves the Giants organization, and he wants to see the Giants get back to where this organization should be. And I think that should make everyone extremely happy.
And I think people are excited about the idea of more of you guys coming back around and getting at that feel that we had, 10 years ago when you won the last World Series. And I'm also hoping that it becomes more of a balance between analytics and the old school humanity of baseball. Do you think that Buster will lean more toward the old school approach as opposed to the previous regime and the new school analytics approach?
Well, I'll tell you this. Bob Melvin and his staff have done a tremendous job in both of those aspects. He has been very, very good and very open about former players coming back and being in the clubhouse, being on the field before the game, coming to spring training, and not just guys like myself that obviously have a role in the organization. He loves it when guys that played for the Giants come back and want to be on the field for batting practice and talk to guys. He has told me all the time, many times, like, I want you here as much as you can be. And I know he's reiterated that to a lot of guys. So that is already in play. And the second part of the question is that aspect is already in play as well. And Bo Mel has preached this too. Like, we can't get one-sided in this game. We can't be all baseball and we can't be all analytical. We have to mesh the two together and be the best we can be at both sides of it. So to answer your question, I think Buster probably, without putting words in his mouth, just the little conversations we had, he believes in all of that. And it's already being put in place by Bo Mel and his staff. So we're already heading in the right track. But I do know this. Buster Posey wants baseball players. He wants guys that want to get on the field and get after it. And I think you can see why Matt Chapman got signed to a long-term extension, because that's what Matt Chapman is. And I know Buster loves baseball players like that. So to answer your question, I think he's going to try and mesh the two together as best we can. As I say the best he can, to put the guys on the field that are going to play baseball and execute what he believes is Giants baseball.
Vogie, this is not obviously your role, but I would love your input. Like, you're in the process. The team is in the process of building and making changes. There are some obvious holes on the field, whether it's shortstop, maybe one outfield spot. We'll see. But in a general sense, what do you think is the right way for this particular group to sort of build whatever it needs to build? Free agency, trade, farm system? What's the priority?
Oh, man. You're throwing some toughies at me tonight, boys.
Hey, man.
I just got done with like 14, 15-year-olds at practice.
I know.
I wasn't really prepared for these tough questions, but hey, I'll take it.
We had an hour to think of some really hard ones to come at you.
That's a great counterpoint right there.
And, hey, and because I didn't call on time, I'm absolutely okay with it. So Listen, I wish I had the perfect answer for you on that, and I'm not sure I do, because I myself don't know what the best way to do it is. I think we have to be excited about what productivity we did get from some of our younger guys this year. I think that we have to be excited about that. I think that we have to be excited that we have Matt Chapman in an extension, and we have a leader in the clubhouse and the field, and the way he plays on the field is exactly what we want to see players play like. And he is a great example for the young guys. As far as through trades and free agency, I think you, just like the analytics in baseball, I think you have to mesh all these together. I don't think you can say we're throwing all of our eggs in one basket and this is the direction we're going to go. I think there has to be a blend. You have to do a little bit in free agency. You probably have to try and do some trades, and we got to continue to have our farm system produce players at the major league level. I think that's the most truthful answer I can give you.
That's a fair one. Absolutely. Bogey, before you go, especially as someone who threw to him, we're talking so much about Buster Posey and leadership. Can you give us a moment that's just like a memory of yours, or a moment that he helped you? Like Buster, the leader, is there something that pops in your mind when you think back to that in your playing days together?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, and I'll make them quick because I don't know how much time we have. But the first one is, a lot of people ask me this all the time, and it's, what did y'all talk about when he came to the mound? And, people think that we would tell a joke or whatever. Well, you guys watch me pitch. I wasn't to come out and tell me a joke guy, right? I think some guys, he might have come out there and tried to make them laugh to relax a little bit, but he obviously knew that wasn't my thing. And so for me, a lot of the times he would come out and he would just hey, we're going to slow the game down. You're going to walk around. I'm going to walk back as slow as I can. You're going to take a lap around behind the mound. Get yourself relocked in, and we're just going to slow everything down. And once you get going, we'll start speeding back up. So he was just very good about knowing every guy and what made those guys tick when stuff started hitting the fan. So, and then the other one was, we were playing the Twins in interleague in 2014 interleague against the Twins. And he was banged up. Bad hamstring, bad back. I think his knee was barking a little bit because he took a foul tip. And obviously I never talked to guys before the game. And once I went on the field, no one definitely talked to me. He didn't even talk to me once I got on the field. Rags and Gardy didn't even talk to me once I went out to warm up. So I'm down in the left field corner stretching, and he came walking out there, and he kept walking towards me. And I'm like, what's going on? Something's up tonight, because he never does this. So he came over to me, he goes, hey, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I have to tell you something. And I go, what's up? And he's like, I feel really bad. I've been in the training room for the last 48 hours just trying to get myself ready to play this game tonight. And he goes, I have not had a chance to look at these hitters at all. And he's like, but the only reason I did that is because I know that you prepare so well. So I could get myself ready to play tonight because I know that you've taken care of what you need to do. And he goes, just tell me what you got. So in about as fast as I could, in 2.5 minutes, I went through the entire lineup, told him exactly what I wanted to do to every single guy. And I said, hey, if they pinch hit for somebody, just call timeout and come out, and I'll tell you what we're going to do to them. Guys, I didn't shake him off the entire night. And I threw 7 shutout innings that night, and I didn't shake my head one time. He didn't miss one pitch for 7 innings.
Man.
So that just tells you what kind of baseball intelligence we're working with, and why that should also make us excited. Because he's smart to begin with, but he is baseball smart. He is person smart. He's relationship smart. He just has all the factors, guys, that should make everyone extremely excited that this thing is going to go really well. So that's my little how cool Buster Posey is moment.
That's a pretty cool story.
You're worth the wait, Ryan.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And then once again, I'm going to apologize.
No.
I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about Buster over the last 24 hours, and I read the text and I thought it said for tomorrow. So once again, I'm going to apologize, and I'm just glad that it worked out that I could get on tonight with y'all.
You are all good, and you are welcome anytime, and we thank you so much for doing it.
No problem. Always a pleasure, boys. Always a pleasure.
Yep. I hope we do it again soon.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much.
You got it.